There it goes. Good Monday morning. Monday morning to a long week ahead, right? So this week we start iLearn testing. Okay. I know some of you at home have already done some of that, but we start tomorrow with the reading, the English Language Arts one. Okay. So we have that tomorrow. Today we're going to start a novel. So while we're taking the iLearn, you have something to read, something to do when you finish, because some of you will finish well before others. Some of you might take a little longer, okay? We've got a lot of tests to get through here as we get started in this, what I'm going to call the iLearn season, right? It's not my favorite season, but it's part of our job here at school. So the novel we're going to be reading is called Tuck Everlasting, and I have it posted here. So this video is pretty much to go over where to find things and how to get to that, okay? Kind of the difference between the two. So in this folder, you will only see these two items today. The Tuck book link, and then I have the audio on there as well. So they're two separate links, which means if you want to listen to it, you're gonna have to open the book to follow along, okay? So this book link here doesn't necessarily look like a book, so you'll see here it says prologue. If I scroll down, you have, this is chapter 1, okay? If I continue scrolling, you'll see chapter 2. So chapters are fairly short, they're not super long, okay? So when you see the assignment for today, don't panic. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not, because some of the chapters are pretty short, okay? So that's the book link itself. If you want the audio, so you're gonna open the book and you're gonna follow along, they're listed here separately, okay? If you hit play, you can listen to the story that way while you're following along on this PDF. Now this is set up where, for those of you at home, if you wanted to print a certain chapter to read it instead of reading it off your iPad, you could, okay? It would be an option to do that. So that's those two things for the novel. Today you're going to be reading, we're going to read the prologue together and have a quick pre-reading discussion here in a minute, but then you're going to read chapters 1, 2, and 3. So tomorrow for reading, when you get on, it's just going to tell you to read certain chapters. Okay, we'll get to some questions and discussing and that kind of stuff on Friday when we're not doing iLearn. Otherwise, it's going to get to be very overwhelming for you to do a reading test, reading and questions and all this other stuff, okay? So we've kind of spread the things out over the course of this week. The other thing I want to remind you is book reports are due Monday, so a week from today. 2 book reports are due, as well as your extra credit for social studies. Okay, so some of you are working on that primary, secondary, extra credit for social studies. A couple of things, I had a couple already turned in. Google and Safari are neither primary nor secondary resources. Those are search engines. Those are places you go to find the resources. So those don't count. Okay, I need to know that you found a certain title of a book. Maybe it was an autobiography about somebody. Okay, that would more than likely then be a primary source. Okay, a secondary source might be a newspaper article or your social studies book. Google and Safari, those kinds of things, that doesn't count. Wikipedia is not the best option either, so I would look outside of Wikipedia. I wouldn't rely on that for my information, okay? So that is also due on Monday, a week from today. Those two things. We have a social studies quiz, and we'll do that later in here, but for those of you that are in Mrs. Bush's class or at home, I wanted to let you know your social studies for the week is a packet, make sure I opened it, of states that you're going to be working on. So you'll have a quiz today, and then all the way down here at the bottom it says States Packet 1, Quiz Friday. So there are 10 states in here. You will upload, those of you here with us will get a paper copy. Those of you at home can upload these states, and then you can work on these over the course of the week, okay? And then on Friday, we're going to take a quiz, and that quiz will mainly focus on just the capitals. Because again, you're taking an iLearn test, so I'm accounting for that. I want you to know the states and the capitals, okay? And I want you to get these done for social studies this week, all right? One last thing for reading, if you checked updates this morning, you're reading those couple of chapters, You also have a FloCab today, and that FloCab covers test-taking vocabulary. You'll see it down here. Okay, being that we're taking a big test, it's got some good words in there that you need to make sure you know and understand. They're words you've probably heard. Some of them, a lot of them, Mrs. Bush or myself use when we're asking questions or giving different directions. Okay, so make sure that you're familiar with those words. Questions? Josh?
For the I Learn, are we still gonna have other specials and stuff?
Yes. Okay. All right. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to read to you because I mentioned that you should read the prologue. I'm going to read that to you, and then we're going to discuss here this book a little bit, kind of what it is and what you're going to be reading about. Give you some purpose for reading, right? I'm going to pull up these pre-reading questions, but I'm going to read the prologue first, and then we'll talk about these, okay? This isn't something that you're doing. It was a discussion we could have, but I didn't post it as the assignment. All right. The first week of August hangs at the very top of summer, the top of the livelong year, like the highest seat of a Ferris wheel when it pauses in its turning. The weeks that come before are only a climb from balmy spring, and those that follow a drop to the chill of autumn. But the first week of August is motionless and hot. Josh? It is curiously silent, too, with blank white dawns and glaring noons and sunsets smeared with too much color. Often at night there is lightning, but it quivers all alone. There is no thunder, no relieving rain. These are strange and breathless days, the dog days, when people are led to do things they are sure to be sorry for after. One day at that time, not so very long ago, 3 things happened, and the first, there appeared to be no connection between them. At dawn, May Tuck set out on her horse for the wood at the edge of the village of Tree Gap. She was going there, as she did once every 10 years, to meet her 2 sons, Miles and Jesse. At noontime, Winnie Foster, whose family owned the Tree Gap Wood, lost her patience at last and decided to think about running away. And at sunset, a stranger appeared at the Fosters' gate. He was looking for someone, but he didn't say who. No connection, you would agree, right? 3 different groups of people. The Tucks, right? They're going to meet. The only connection may have been that Winnie Foster's family owns where the Tucks are traveling, right? And then we have this other stranger whose name we don't know is standing at the Foster's gate. Okay? No connection, you would agree, but things can come together in strange ways. The wood was, at the center, the hub of the wheel. All wheels must have a hub. A Ferris wheel has one, as the sun is the hub of the wheeling calendar. Fixed points they are, and best left undisturbed, for without them nothing holds together. But sometimes people find this out too late. All right. So 3 groups of people. Who were they? iPads are closed. You don't need them right now. Who were they, May? Maya. May. May Tuck was one. Maya's in my class. Go ahead, Maya. The Fosters. So you have the... And then the guy, we don't know his name, right? So May Tuck had 2 sons. You remember their names? Ooh, maybe? Juliana? Jesse and Miles. And then we had Winnie Foster, who we find out is the one telling us this story here, right? She's giving us a lot of the information. Okay, we kind of see it through her eyes and what's happening. Okay, Nick?
The person standing there could be a ghost.
Could be. Who else could that stranger be? Good thoughts. Riker?
A secret agent.
A secret agent, okay. Could be a secret agent, right? Maybe he knows stuff that we don't know, or he knows stuff that the other people, they don't know he knows that. John?
Yeah, he could be hiding aliens. A spy or just a random person.
Okay. Spy, random person. Kenny?
You think it could be like they had the foster care?
Okay, possibly. Eli?
A turtle who could talk.
Well, it's a person. It's not a turtle. So this story here is a fantasy. So when I say fantasy, right, fictional literature, it's fake, right? This story cannot really happen. It's a made-up story, okay? It takes place in an imaginative setting. So it is imaginative in the sense that part of it is something that couldn't be real. But other parts of it you might see as, oh, that could have been true, okay? That could have happened. That could be a place. knowing that Tuck Everlasting is a fantasy, what might you expect about the story? So it's fantasy, fiction, made up. Knowing from the prologue what we just read, what do you think? What could we expect? Maya?
Well, that guy has something very special about him. Yeah.
Okay, something very special about that guy that's standing outside the gate. That was your thought, Nick. Anybody else? Other thoughts? Sean?
That dude's bad.
Okay, maybe he's bad news. The stranger standing outside is bad news. All right. Could be.
Could be a murder.
Other thoughts?
He could have it.
John?
He could have one of those plastic
Shut up. Like when someone else is scary, like he's the head of the foster care and trying to take
Okay, now Winnie Foster, that's her name. Foster is her last name.
Wait, is that what
Okay.
foster care
So that's a person. No, that's a person. Okay. No, Winnie Foster is the name of a character in this book. Okay. Maya?
Probably going to be like a hero in the story.
Say that again.
The girl, her last name Tuck, she's probably gonna be like a hero in her story. Yeah.
Okay, May Tuck, you think is going to be a hero in the story? Okay. All right.
Kind of already like the main character.
Seems like it, right? Let's go here. If you could drink a potion and it would magically make you live forever, would you take it?
Yeah. No.
Ooh. Raise your hand if you say yes. Would you take a potion that would magically make you live forever? I got a few. Let's see the hands of those that say no. I would not. Oh, wow. All right. 3. We're listening. 2. This is what I want you to do. Not right this minute for those of you in here, okay? I want you to post in updates why you would or would not drink a magic potion that would make you live forever. Okay? So yes, I would for whatever reason, and no or no, I would not. What would you decide? Okay, as far as that goes. What would be the positive effects of taking the potion and negative effects? So that's what you're going to kind of give me while you're answering that question. Okay, I want you to think about that one.
And reading?
All right. Yeah, and reading. Not right now, though, Kenny. I need you listening. Okay, I want you to think about that. Why would you take it? Why wouldn't you take it? So you're going to give me pros and cons based on your choice. Okay? All right. That is something for you to work on later. So your assignment for reading today, or you can do it before you read because I'm going to give you your assignment here. Remember, you're back here. I already read this. So you're starting here at number 1. You're going to read 1, 2, okay, and then 3. So when you get to this here, number 4, then you're done. We'll read that starting tomorrow, okay? So 1, 2, and 3 is what you're reading. You're going to post in discussions. If you're not sure and you don't want to necessarily give an answer and updates, that's fine, okay, about whether or not you would drink it. That's up to you, okay? If you want to share it on updates, all right? And you also have a flow cab for reading that you're going to be working on, right? Questions about reading, Riker?
So for the thingy, the potion thingy, can you like do pros and cons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cause like a pro,
Well, you're telling us yes or no, and from there you're going to kind of fall into
Yeah.
pros and cons because you're going to
Yeah.
tell me why.
yeah, cause like a pro of having the potion, like and then like that you could never die. That
Mhm.
means you could like live until the whole world could end. Like
Possibly.
You could see everything.
All right,
And still
Brendan?
live.
How many chapters are in this?
I don't know.
And still live.
Eli?
Wait, if the live forever potion makes you live forever, does that mean you like even if you get like shot? Or
Well, that's something for
like-
you to decide. What do you think? If something like that were to happen, would your life end?
If you get shot by in the heart.
So, things to think about. All right,
If you can't die.
you are working